What's up YouTube? My name is Amisbro. For this video we are doing episode 35 of the anime review series and episode 1 of your request month. If you recall, I asked for suggestions to do for animes to review. Well, I managed to get 4. The first one we are looking at will be a series from a friend of mine. Her name is Tiff, aka Yue, on Tumblr. And the series is called Aldnoah.Zero, which ran, interestingly enough, from July the 5th, 2014 to March 28th, 2015. So for anybody who's wondering, yes, it actually premiered the same day as a little series called Sailor Moon Crystal. Because, well, yeah. Anywho, this one is an interesting one to talk about because if you are a fan of a mech series called Gundam Wing, you will actually feel right at home with this series. And if you're an adrenaline junkie, you're really going to enjoy it, I think. So, what can I tell you about this series? Well, let me give you the plot and we'll get on with it, shall we? This plot goes like this. In 1972, an ancient alien hypergate was discovered on the surface of the moon. Using the technology, humanity began migrating to Mars and settling there. After settlers discovered additional advanced technology, the Vers Empire was founded, which claimed Mars and its secrets for themselves. Later, the Vers Empire declared war on Earth. And in 1999, a battle on the moon's surface caused the hypergate to explode, shattering the moon and scattering remnants into a debris belt around the planet. Cut off from Mars, the remnants of the Vers Imperial Army established several massive orbital space stations within the debris itself, and a ceasefire was established. 15 years later, in 2014, an attack on the Vers Princess during a peace mission caused the Empire to launch a new attack on Earth. This time, determined to conquer it once and for all. Now, I want us to think about something for a second. 1999, 2014, 15 years. If that doesn't sound anything like Neon Genesis Evangelion, which, by the way, if you remember, in 2015 is when that series takes place, and 15 years prior, there was a thing called Second Impact. Remember that? So for originality purposes, no, the story's not going to get any points from me. However, that being said, what you find out over 24 episodes is a goddamn emotional roller coaster that will take you which way and get your adrenaline going. Now, they do have a very interesting name for the mechs that they use. However, because I can't pronounce it and I don't feel like butchering it, we're just going to call them mechs, okay? The story, in a nutshell, revolves around, if you really want to break it down to the simplest form, you have a character named Inoue and his sister Yuki. Okay? You got, let me think. You have the princess herself, whose name, and I know I'm going to mispronounce this, Asylum. Asseylum. Okay? We also have Slain Toriard, who actually is from Earth, and his father was an Earth scientist. He eventually became a member of the Orbital Knights. Okay? We also have, in the first season, a guy named Kuroteo, who, let's just say he's not the best friends with the kid. Alright? Now, The whole gist of the series is this war, and it goes on for 24 episodes. There are a lot of different pieces that move along through the course of the series, not the least of which are alliances are formed and alliances are switched. Okay? What you come to find out is the princess doesn't take any bullshit. But then again, neither do the Orbital Knights. Two of them, however, have a very interesting role in the series. One you meet fairly early in season 2, the other one you don't meet till the end of the series, or thereabouts. Okay? Well, you also find out that they're not one for skimping on language. It actually isn't that bad, but at times it can be a little interesting with the way they use it. I believe the show is actually rated PG-13, and for anyone wondering, yes, it is getting an English dub. At least the first season is. Season 2 we don't know yet. Season 1's story is interesting because the way they start off the show is you have this one character who's supposed to be in what we'll call the Earth Resistance. Okay? Her name is Rayet, R-A-Y-E-T. She despises Martians because they killed her father. I can dig it. But the problem with this is since she's going on and on about it, and this is in season 1, when a certain event happens in that season, towards the end of it, the idea that she did it was not really a shock. Because the writer all but told you, this is going to happen, we're just not going to tell you when. Okay? So you have that. You have the situation with the different members of the Orbital Knights. One of them is named Sazbom. Okay? He's an interesting cat because of something that happens with another knight named Kuroteo earlier in the series. Or earlier, at least in the first season. And the way they did the show was actually really unique because it's effectively 2 seasons. Alright? But the way they did it, it was like season 1's 1 through 12, and then they did season 2 is 13 to 24. But they didn't start at number 1, 2, 3, 4. They did it literally 13, 14, 15, 16, up. Alright. They did another interesting thing with this story, though. And some people may crap on it. Some people may like it, depending on your point of view. What they do is, how do I explain this? There are times in the series where they will start an episode, at least in the first season, by showing you something that happened earlier in either the previous episode or an episode before that, so that you know how you got to that point. And it's also interesting because, much like my boys from Gundam Wing, you see how the different alliances go. Okay, like I mentioned, you have, oh god, you have 2 of the knights who the one night you figure out real quick, he's going to have a loyalty effectively to his princess, but also to helping stop the war. And there's another one who, let me think. Oh, Mazarek. He was an interesting one because he got captured. I'm sorry, I apologize for the spoiler now. He gets captured, but then he kind of gets talked into helping, and he does a very good job. To the point where I'm sitting there going, please don't let nothing happen to this guy. I actually like him. Actually, I liked Ruteo also, even when he was a bit nutty with his interrogation tactics. But overall, it wasn't bad. You know, the way they did the story flow was interesting, but it worked out in the long run. Now we get to talk about one of my favorite things, and that is the animation. And oh dear God, hello, A1 Studios, my boys. Can you not do like really good animation so I can't praise you for once? For the love of all God, Jesus Christ. The animation style they use here, I'm going to come out and say it right now. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. God damn. If you want a lesson in how to really do really good animation in the present day, okay, watch this series, because they kicked ass 6 Ways to Sunday on it. Not even lying. If you want me to say anything bad about it, I can't. I can say something bad about the subbing, because they fucked up at some point. They're writing the word packed on the subs, okay? And I swear this happened. They spelled it P-A-K-C-E-D. Somebody needs to learn how to spell check. It's actually C-K, and they flipped 2 letters. Excuse me. Sorry, told you. But you can't make this up. They screwed that up, and I was like, wait, did they not notice that? Alright. But here was something that was kind of interesting, the way they did with the story, that I should mention. They did it where the final 2 episodes didn't get their intro. You know what I mean? Like, if you've ever watched most animes, the final episode is the one that doesn't usually get the traditional intro. It just gets straight into the episode. For the finale, they did away with the intro and they just went straight into the episode, which I was fine with, because you got to watch it and everything. Plus, the season 1 one is actually a lot better, which is what they actually end with. I will say this for those curious. The way they end season 1 is actually pretty eerie. Like, on a scale of 1 to whoa. Let me think, what else? Let's talk about the character development real quick. Character development was interesting, but it was interesting for a reason which I'm not sure how to really take. See, typically speaking, when a character does something really, really good, there's a level of emotion. When a character's panicking, there's a level of emotion. When a character's angry, there's a level of emotion. Do you get what I'm saying? Inaho, one one of the main characters, has this weird problem. His voice is kind of like this. It's flat. So what happens is something good may happen and you won't know it, or something bad will happen and you may know that, but not really. That part kind of messes with you. You have a character like Morito, who he's interesting because he has PTSD. Okay? Well, he has it because in a war, or in a previous battle with the Martians, a friend of his got killed. So he had to be able to overcome that, and he does with some help from a friend of his named Soma, who's the doctor, and who was voiced by Kosuke Toriyume. For those of you who don't know, that is the voice actor for Cecil Ajima in the anime Yuta no Prince-sama. But anyway, so you have that going on, that story with him. You have the actual war going on, and you have a bunch of different moving parts. I won't get into all of them because I'm not spoiling anything for you. But it was so interesting to watch it because it felt like a modern day version, and I'll show it again, of Gundam Wing, which is really good because, like I said, Gundam Wing is one of my favorite series. And by the way, if you was wondering, because I've never actually reviewed it for you, in September we're going to. Okay? Somebody trolled me on my Facebook. You know who you are. Want to be a smart ass, and yeah. But in September we're going to do that. Anywho, this series needs to be watched by everybody. It needs to be watched because they have a unique way of telling their story. The animation's really good. The character development is interesting because of the way they tell their story, but I have no issue with it. And like I said, it's 24 episodes. The second season is done a little bit differently because you've already established the characters. Like, the first 12 episodes are establishing the characters and what their role is. The second 12 is done in a unique formula in many respects, but it's not in a way that would annoy you. It will actually get you interested. At least I think it will. So, to wrap this up, let's get on with the final verdict. If you are looking for a series that will show you some of the brilliance of animation from different studios in Japan, and if you want a good reason why, I always call A1 Studios a very good studio to check out. Some of their animes from Yuta no Prince-sama, Black Butler, now this one. Your Lie in April also had really good animation. Its story was just shitty. I'm sorry. This one, I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the animation, and I enjoyed it all immensely. 24 episodes, 2 seasons, go check it out for me, will you? Next up on the viewer request month will be Attack on Titan. However, I will state this now. Even though I know there's a second season coming, this is a one-time deal. First, last, only. I will never touch Attack on Titan after this. So, that will start on Friday night. Until then, my friends, you take care of yourself, and I will talk to you all after Attack on Titan is finished. Good night.